Hey friends, welcome to my channel. Here I'm experimenting with natural colorants and just testing them out, seeing them how they work out in my soap and how they compare to each other. I have about a teaspoon of my colorants in these cups. There are 22 of them, and I have my oils mixed up and ready here. And then I have some lye already mixed and cooling overnight here, and I have added some sodium lactate to the lye solution. 22 of my natural colorants, 1 teaspoon or so in each cup. I have poured in the colorants and I have labeled the cups on the sides so that I know, even after mixing, I know which colorant has been used in which cup. So for example, as you can see in the video, I have them labeled on the side. So this is Aloevera powder, and this one is, I think, ratanjot, and then I have some rose powder here, and so on and so forth. Now I have clays. In clays I have kaolin clay, bentonite, and this is walnut shell powder. I have Thai clays in different colors. I have leaf powders of Neem, moringa, and Henna, and hibiscus, rose powders. And I also have charcoal powder and turmeric and paprika, just to compare how each colorant works out. Here I'm mixing up my lye solution and my oils and blending my soap. Now the soap I will be blending to thin trays because as I'm mixing about 22 colors, I don't want my batter to thick up too much at the end of the whole thing. So I want the batter to be as fluid for the last cups as it is for the initial ones. So I'm just blending it up to thin trays. At this point I remember that I have set aside some oil from the same batch to mix into my colorants. What I usually do when adding powdered additives to my soap, I mix them in a couple of teaspoons of the same oil and just mix them up in the container and then add to my batter. What that helps with is that the powder mixes up very smoothly with the batter with no lumps and evenly. So that is what I will be doing here. So I remember that I haven't added the oil, so here I will be adding the oil. So for each cup there is about a teaspoon of the colorant and a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half of the oil. So this oil also has been calculated into the recipe, so I'm not taking any oil apart from what is in my recipe. I'm taking this oil too was from the same oil that I have used. So my superfat doesn't change, it will be the same. So I'm mixing up each and every cup, and so I don't have any lumps. I'll be just mixing it up properly. Now as soon as my mixing up is done, I will be weighing out some soap into each cup. I decided on about adding about 70 grams of soap to each cup. I have noted the names of the colorants in a particular sequence on a sheet to the side of where I'm working, and I'll be adding the batter in that sequence and pouring it in the molds in that particular sequence. Now here I have mixed up almost all of the colorants with oil, and I'll be weighing out the soap batter. Now initially I thought that I'll weigh out each cup, I'll weigh out about 70 grams, but then I found the process a little bit too tedious. weighing out the exact amount, and I discovered that the ladle that I use for pouring the soap comes to about 70 grams roughly of the batter. So here you can see that I have my weighing scale ready, and I'll be taking my first colorant, that was the neem powder, and I'll be mixing it with the batter in a few seconds. So this is my ladle, and it roughly gives about 70 grams of soap. Now I have my bowls and spoons and all the other materials that I use for my soap making separate. I do not use the ones that I use in my cooking. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. So here I have measured, and as you can see, putting in the soap batter and removing it was very tedious, and I don't like extra work. So after 2 cups, I discovered that each ladleful is about 70 grams roughly. So I think I'm going to go with just eyeballing the amount. So here I'm pouring my neem powder as my colorant. This mold has capacity is about 70 grams for each soap. So I went with this, and then I take the next colorant, which was the henna powder, and use that. So the initial 2 colorants I have done in real time speed to show how I'm mixing, but the rest of the colorants I'll just be speeding up. So it's a 22 colorants, and it did take me a long time to mix all of them. I don't think anybody will be willing to watch that long, and YouTube does have a time limit to these videos. So here I'm mixing up my henna powder. As you can see, it's giving me a brownish color, it's not really green. So maybe not using that color again. Some colors like coffee and I wouldn't exactly call it a natural colorant, but I did want to try that out. I use it in my soap, and it gives a nice color to the soap. I wanted to try out as a colorant. Then I did have cocoa powder and a few other fruit powders. So maybe that's a video for next time. Here I'm mixing up my calamine powder, and as you can see, it's such a beautiful color, and it did come out very good after the soap was taken out of the mold. Sorry. This was one of the more vibrant colors, and I'll definitely be using it again. I just love using clays in my soap, and this was a really lovely color. In this part of mixing the colors, I'll be speeding up the mixing, as the process was the same as I've done for the first 3 colors. Just add some oil to the powders and the batter and mix it and pour it into the molds. So one by one I'm pouring. This is the moringa powder that I poured just now, and this is the turmeric powder that I have mixed, and I'm pouring it. And after turmeric comes paprika. So the process of mixing and pouring was the same. It was just the initial part where I prepared the cups and the batter. That was something which was to be followed, but the rest of the whole thing is the same as what I've done for the first 3 cups. So I'm just speeding up this part because there are so many colors to be poured, and if you have any questions about any of the colorants that I've used or anything that I haven't been very clear about, please do leave a comment below and I'll try to get back to you. If you would like to see me make any more videos on any particular topic that I can help with, do let me know. Actually, editing the videos and making the videos does take a lot of time, and I really don't have the time for this, but I thought this was something that I could share, and I was very curious about this, so I thought I'll share as to what I'm finding it. After a month of curing, about 4 to 6 weeks after the curing is done, I will be posting the colorants pics on my Instagram, just so that people can see what the color has turned out to be at the end of the whole process. So in this one I have mostly clays in this mold, and I have bentonite, I have fuller's earth, I have kaolin clay. The central one is the kaolin clay with that white look, and I have Thai clays, red, green, and white. I don't actually have anything in blues, and I did also want that. I just did have indigo powder, but somehow my indigo powder never works out. So there is indigo powder in this colorants, also in these colorants, but it never works out for me. If you know of a good way to get the color, please do leave a comment below. I'd love to try that. I really want some blues in my natural colorants. The others that are commonly used, like blue woad powder and all that, we don't get in India, so I don't have any access to them. But any other alternative you have for blues, please do let me know. So the second colorant in this batch is charcoal powder, and I really love that, how black it comes out to. Now these are the soaps after 24 hours of pouring in and just before unmolding from the molds. Video, please push the like button and subscribe for more videos, and do leave a comment below so I know how you like it. Thank you.